What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. And I bet y'all didn't know that Xscape was the prototype for Bad Girls Club. I'm just kidding. Like the video as my intro plays, because we got a lot to discuss. It's a whole lot of drama coming from every angle. And I'm here to break it all down with reenactments.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. That's all. 1 and 1 got to equal 2.
Make it make sense, boo.
Big moves.
Surfer.
Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dream. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dream. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
Sun in the sky.
Okay, guys. So we got a lot. It spans from old Xscape history to present day. It's still going on. People are coming at Kandi. It's crazy. So let's start with this interview that I found. Some of you guys might know this, some of you may not. We all knew that Tasha and Kandi had it out, toe up the recording studio, as it was put. But I technically did not know that pregnant Tiny and Kandi had a pow slap match. So these are in her words. And this was pretty explosive. Shout out to DJ Vlad.
Some fights. Well, we only had really two fights. Like me and Kandi had a little slap, you know what I'm saying? A little quickie, you know what I'm saying?
I literally did not know that, y'all. I mean, things happen. They're best friends now.
And I was pregnant, so you know, it wasn't that bad, but we did have a little snap here and there, you know.
I'm gonna hope and pray that it was pregnant Tiny who initiated that. Actually, I'm gonna go with 90% sure it had to be Tiny who initiated that. And we all know Kandi is not for it and will come back at you. So I'm going to go ahead and say that it was Tiny who initiated that one. And I think it probably went a little something like this.
Hands on me, that's what
Bang, calm down.
Kandi up tonight. I will beat up my ass.
A strong feeling, that's what it was like.
Got into a little, and then Tasha and Kandi finally got into a fight as well.
Now, side note, you guys, I literally could not find any old pictures of just Kandi and Tasha. So they really must have disliked each other from the very beginning. We know that Tasha was really the older one, and the other three were, you know, around the same age, went to school together, kind of knew each other from the neighborhood, stuff like that. So we heard about the Tasha one because that was the most notable one. They really went in depth on the first SWV reality show. I'm sorry, Xscape reality show.
And it just seemed like it was a long overdue time because they were always kind of back and forth. And it finally escalated into a real fight. And I just remember us
Who's surprised?
rehearsing. I don't remember what we were rehearsing for, but that rehearsal hall.
If you know Atlanta, you know people from College Park don't play. Just it is what it is. They will get with you.
It was turned upside down.
Okay, just a full-blown fist fight.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So it is debatable as to who won, but I have a feeling it was something like this.
What do you mean what rule? Come on.
That's what I imagined. It was something like you guys can put in the comments who you think actually took that one. Because I don't know. Kandi is small, but she's scrappy. and she's known to drag somebody. But let's move on, because this is where things get kind of crazy. It involves Mona Scott, Carlos King, Tamar. It involves a lot of people. So let me start here. Let's start with the fact that the Great Xscape tour was initially sponsored by Zeus and was supposed to be called Baddies ATL. Okay, I'm just kidding. So Mona really was the brainchild behind getting the group together for the reality show aspect of it. And we know that once the reality show was a success and talks were happening, they wanted to put out their life story. Now, this is where shout out to my boy House of Aaron. When interviewing Kandi, she alleged that Carlos King, she said, I can't F with him ever again, while emotionally discussing beef with Carlos King, claims he stole and sold the right to Xscape's life story behind their back. Now, if you know anything about RHOA, Kandi and Carlos had a history together because of Carlos being the producer of the show. And then eventually Carlos and Todd produced Hollywood Divas together. So there was history, but nobody really knew how things dissolved between them and where the bad blood was. To my knowledge, I don't think Carlos has directly spoke out about it. I'll check into that. But Tamar jumps in. And let me tell you guys why it is Baddies ATL. Tamar has a mouth on her. If you guys don't know, Monica refers to herself as Gunica.
Where you say it.
Yeah,
Keep that to yourself till you see me.
She does not play. If you remember, it's alleged that backstage at one of the award shows way back in the 90s, she had her own little slap match with Brandy. And let's just say Brandy didn't fight back. So this, all these girls will get with you in their own way. So let's get back to Tamar inserting herself into what happened with Carlos and Kandi. Let me pull this up because we're getting to some things, you guys. So this was the background behind it. So basically, Tamar Braxton claims the housewives of Atlanta and their husband threatened her. Tamar has been spilling lots of tea lately, and the latest is a certain someone on the housewives of Atlanta and their husband. Now, I must say this is all reported and nothing has been confirmed up until last night, guys. She said, Kandi took shots at a former RHO executive producer, Carlos King, for allegedly trying to steal her life story by making a movie about Kandi's girl group Xscape. When Tamar and Kandi were on tour, Tamar allegedly said that never happened, which sparked the drama between the two singers. So Tamar this is what led up to what happened on Watch What Happens Live last night. I got a story. Y'all want to hear about it. Tamar wrote, I was threatened by a peach and they man. It's funny to me that no one said anything. Maybe because they don't want you to know who they really are. Says Tamar has always been honest. Now I know she has a mouth, but I don't know about that. I do think Tamar can put 20 on 10. Literally. She says, although they left the house, the Big Brother house, it looks like the former frenemies are now just enemies. I feel like if I did what they did, they would have told the world, Tamar continued on Instagram. But because they don't want y'all to know how effed up they are as people and city officials, they ain't said nothing. Shall we play a guessing game? It's beef, and it's a real beef because your husband stepped to me, period. So we got another reenactment. I imagine it was probably something like this.
Bucking up his chest at me like he gonna do something. Like, you don't walk up on a woman like that,
That is pretty much what Tamar is alleging. Shout out to Pillow Talk for giving us all our reenactments. Apparently, there's been friction between Kandi and Tamar since Kandi wasn't feeling the feedback Tamar gave when discussing the allegations that producer Carlos King had begun working on Xscape biopic behind her back. Now, I don't know what that is. If Carlos did that. If he didn't, again, Carlos hasn't, I don't believe he has directly responded to that. I would love to see what his response is. It's all pretty crazy. But this is what Tamar had to say on Watch What Happens Live when she actually spilled it last night to promote her show, The Queen's Court. Now, I have my own thoughts about Tamar and why she chose to do this, why the engagement between her and one of the contestants was announced. I really just think that maybe they are not getting the best feedback for the show. So in order to drum up interest in this Peacock show, they have let us know that Evelyn and Tamar are newly engaged to the people on the show. What is weird is typically on a dating show, you don't see pictures of the people, but I've seen pictures of Tamar with her fiance for months. So things are really strange with this particular show. It's like, why would you want to watch when you know the ending? I don't know how that works. But this is what Tamar had to say, and it definitely is a soundbite to help the show. So I get why they did it on Watch What Happens Live.
No,
Was she a full housewife?
She's a full housewife. Oh my gosh.
It's not Kandi.
Ooh.
And then she smiles.
Oh, my lamb.
I thought you and Kandi mended everything after Big Brother.
I thought so too. I had no idea.
Wow. Okay.
I'll tell you the story later.
So some people say they want Kandi. I mean, they want Tamar on RHOA. Some people say never. What is slightly interesting is, you know, Mona Scott is affiliated with this show, the SWV and Xscape. A interviewer got her on the red carpet, and I want you guys to tell me how you interpret what she responded to Tamika potentially going to RHOA, which I have been championing. I would love to see Tamika on RHOA, but you guys tell me. Shout out to the Yes Show. Let me take this off.
I hope so. Folks are rooting for Tamika to be on Real Housewives of Atlanta. That's like the campaign.
No. She's on the Queens of
She's
R&B.
on the Queens of R&B.
Yes, we're gonna keep her
and
right
we're going to
there.
keep it right there.
Yes.
So y'all hold back.
That's really interesting. Why wouldn't she promote her to move on to the next? Because the Queens of R&B is not going to be something that has season after season. So I don't know what that was. It was a little strange. Maybe it was the producer and her saying that she's not going to. That was weird. You guys put in the comments, why wouldn't she promote her to move on to a lasting reality show that's going to continue to go somewhere? That I didn't like that. Guys, I did my SWV Xscape. I did my show last night, reviewing the show. I do it every Sunday night at 8:30 after the show. We had a good old time. And I did some behind the scenes tea and a life update with Jamie. That's me. It got really deep. I talked about the loss of my grandmother over the last week. What's going on with my exclusive interview with Jacqueline from RHOP. Check that out. It was a deeply personal conversation. I will see you guys later and tell me what you think about all this, because it was a whole bunch of beatdowns going on with Xscape. And it's still possibly continuing if Tamar's allegations are true. So I can't wait for Kandi's response. I will keep you guys locked into what goes on. Have a good day, guys.